Hello students, today we will learn the poem called The Ball, which was written by John Berryman. John Berryman was an American poet who became popular through his publications, The Dream Songs. Let me give you an overview of this poem. The world is full of possessions, may it be monetary things and relations, and one should learn the pain of loss. This is the point the poet has clearly depicted through a boy with his lost ball. We have two characters in the poem. One is the poet, who is also a narrator, and the second one is a small boy who lost his ball. Let me give you the line by line explanation. What is the boy now who has lost his ball? What is he to do? I saw it go, merrily bouncing down the street, and then merrily there it is in the water. The first line is started with a question. As I have already explained you that the poem is all about a lost ball in water, the first line is started with a question. As I have already explained you that the poem is all about a lost ball in water, the poet is the witness of the scene and asking us a direct question like, what is the position of the boy? How is he feeling? What is his state of mind? Because he lost his favorite ball with which his memories are connected with. The poet is standing at a little distance and noticing everything, like merrily bouncing there is in the water, like how the ball is going into the water merrily. What is the meaning of merrily? Happiness. So the ball was bouncing happily into the water. Here the poet has used a poetic device, that is, firstly, happiness and sadness, these are all the feelings that human beings have, and ball is an inanimated thing, so it's an object. So objects do not possess all the feelings. So this is a poetic device that has been used by the poet that we will discuss in the last. No use to say, oh, there are other balls. The poet is saying it doesn't make sense if he tells the boy that there are many other balls. Don't worry, we'll buy another one. Will it work? No way, because the loss is not just the ball. He lost his memories with the ball, the attachment, the emotional attachment with the ball, and his happy days he spent with while playing with that ball. An ultimate shaking grief fixes the boy as he stands rigid, trembling, staring down. In these lines, the poet is explaining the situation of the boy after the loss of ball. He is transfixed with shaking grief. Grief means utter sadness. He stands rigid. Rigid means stiff and stubborn, trembling and staring down. You can see a lot of kids, after crying out of grief, they start trembling with weakness. Weakness may not represent physical, however, in some cases we tremble or feel giddy when we become mentally weak. That is what the poet is explaining here. Staring down. Staring down means, staring means a constant look down. Why is he constantly looking down? Because the ball bounced into the water and it is lying down. He is staring at the ball which was lying down on the floor in the water. All his young days into the harbor where the ball went. Here in this line, the poet is saying that all the young days of the boy went into the water, that means into the harbor. The poet has used again a poetic device here. He said young days went into the water, but actually what went into the water? It's a ball. So young days represent the days the boy spent with the ball, went into the water. Here the poet is symbolizing the ball with the young days and memories of the boy. I would not intrude on him. A dime, another ball, is worthless. The meaning of intrude is refraining, not involving. So here the poet is refraining himself not to go and console the boy. The poet thought, persuading him by buying another ball is of no use, because here money can buy another ball, but not the emotional bond and feelings. That's why he said, another dime is worthless. Dime is the denomination of money, which is equal to 10 cents in USC. The last four lines. He is learning well behind his desperate eyes. The epistemology of loss, how to stand up, knowing what every man must one day know, and most know many days, how to stand. Here the poet says that the boy has to learn that in this materialistic world, many of his belongings will be lost. He personifies the ball as his belongings, be it be worldly pleasures, things, and the relationships he is in possession with. So, he says that he has to learn to live without them. The poet said so because, according to him, according to the poet, money cannot buy anything. If it does buy you anything, they are simply materialistic things. But you don't get that attachment, the bonding, and that belongingness and possessiveness with those things. He says that the boy is learning how to stand up against the bitter truth of losing things. This means that the boy started learning to digest the reality of the society. He has to accept the miseries, downfalls, setbacks of life. Life is always an uphill battle. And this is the bitter truth which everyone has to learn and digest, no matter how harsh it seems and sounds. And most know many days how to stand up means most of the people, they started learning and they started standing up, withholding and upholding the problems and the uphill battles. And when it is given to the tender age of the boy, as he is still very young and a small kid, he started learning those things. So gradually, as his age grows, accordingly his maturity levels and his mind will be tuned in such a way that I will be losing things at any point of time, and I have to tune my mind in such a way that when something is lost which is very dear and near to me, I don't have to feel disgraced or depressed. Let us see the figures of speech from this poem. First one is personification. In this poem, the poet describes ball merrily bouncing down the street. Merrily means happily. It is a human characteristic which is given to the ball. The second one is metaphor. Here, balls will be lost always. Balls here symbolize possessions and the childhood days that the boy lost. And the third one is repetition. It is a literary device in which a word or phrase is repeated 2 or more times. In the poem, the poet repeats the word what 2 times or 3 times in the first 2 lines. And the next one is alliteration. It is the occurrence of same letter or sound at the beginning of adjacent or closely connected words. Example, who, has, lost, his, ball. H sound is repeated. And no one buys a ball back. Buys ball back. B sound is repeated. And the next, deep and dark floor of harbor. D sound is repeated. Move my mind and my heart move with all the move me. M sound is being repeated. And the fifth one is enjambment. It is the continuation of a sentence without a pause beyond the end of the line. And the last one is symbolism. In this poem, the ball symbolizes with memories, possessions, and childhood. So the last one is symbolism. Here, the ball symbolizes with the childhood, possessions, and the memories. As it is a free verse poem, there is no particular rhyme scheme written by the poet. Thank you, that's all for today.